till I rock, you little body bitch. I'ma judge your ass like she pot, you little body bitch. And I'm smooth with it, y'all zop, you little body bitch. And I switch, ain't gon' know your thought, you little body bitch. And I'ma stay turning like the cars, you little body bitch. And I'm stone cold like a bond, you little body bitch. And I'm a warrior like Dan Gabar, you little body bitch. And my aim like not a zop, you little body bitch. Need a princess part bar, you little body bitch. Or anyone down the slide, you little body bitch. Yeah. I keep a couple straps in my ride, you little body bitch. Just in case anyone wanna die, cause I'm body bitch. I got be ready, you mad, get stoned, work hard, then play, bad bitch, my taste. We vibe, we lay, we purple, we gay, we lit jazz, love fight, all along, I sing, fuck wrong.
Yeah, on 44 shit, you know what I mean? Busy man, busy man. Look, when that shit drop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and they head with that shit.
Fine then, I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it, got it out the mud, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel, he nice but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. They mad, I'm too solid, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. No, they want my life, I ain't worried, I got rank for real. I got real soldiers, kill for me, nigga, watch yourself. They said you been in beast mode lately, you is not yourself. When you dropping that fire, precious marriage, they inquiring. They can't stop what's coming, but I see them conspiring. Cross the line, them firing. This bitch here, finna break the spin. No kindness, I don't trust you, circle small. You can keep your features. Me and my niggas don't keep no secrets. In the field like Jeepers Creepers, say they want some smoke, dawg. So I brought these chimney sweeps. Coming like we coming, you can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we running, bitch, don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas till the end, till them do us part. So if you wanna leave, you can leave, bitch. Bless your heart, fine then. I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived.
Shalom, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatham, Yahweh Shemalatham, Bashem, Yahweh Shah. This is ISUPK, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We teach the truth about the Bible. We teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians are the chosen people of God, and our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Now, you tuned in, ISUPK, Kentucky, Maine, under Commander General Yohana. And tonight is our Monday night history class. But before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody's tuned in. It's our weekly content, ISUPK Kentucky. Monday night, of course, you got the history class every Monday, 9 p.m. Tuesday night, brotherhood class, 7 p.m. And Wednesday night, the podcast, Cry Out, Spare Not podcast, and Saturday morning Sabbath service. So Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Saturday morning. So tonight, as usual, I got some straight drop for y'all. And we finna get into the truth about Pan-Africanism and Umar Johnson. Now, in case you haven't heard, he recently dropped another video talking about the school is finished again. So we're finna talk about Umar Johnson tonight. Again, he just recently dropped a video talking about the school was ready, the school is done. And he's been building this school for what, 15, 16 years, 17 years, damn it, 20 years been building this damn school. So tonight's topic, the truth about Pan-Africanism and Umar Johnson. So we're finna go into the history of Pan-Africanism, how it started, who started it, why it was started, and then we're finna talk about Umar a little bit. All right, so ISUPK Kentucky Monday night history class under Commander General Yohana, the truth about Pan-Africanism and Umar Johnson. Now, first, let's talk about the name Africa. All right, so the word Africa comes from a word afar. All right, a word afar. It's a Berber word, a North African word, indigenous to the region. It says the earliest inhabitants of Tunis were cave dwellers. Herodotus in his second book describes the customs and country of these troglodytes. Now, the principal part of this cave-dwelt chain is still called the Jebel Ephraim of the Ephraim tribe who inhabited. According to Berber historian, this tribe dwelt there from time immemorial. And he mentions that they derived their name from the Berber word Efri, which signifies a cave. It is clear that Ephir is merely a Latinized form of the Libyan equivalent Ephraim, that is cave dwellers. All right, so the word Africa means cave dweller. All right, the word Africa means cave dweller. Here's your source, the Journal of the Royal African Society, 1903. All right, the word Africa means cave dweller. And you have Africans today that still live in caves. You have Africans today that still live in caves. Somehow they still manage to get them ragged ass flip-flops that they known for. But you still got Africans that live in caves today. All right, now this African identity, as far as Black Americans are concerned. All right, one of the first people that you see use this African title or this African identity is Prince Hall. All right, Prince Hall, of course, is known for starting the African Lodge, Prince Hall Freemasonry, 1784. All right, he's one of the first people to use this term African. All right, Prince Hall was freeborn in British West Indies. His father, Thomas Prince Hall, was an Englishman, and his mother was a free colored woman of French extraction. He later became a minister in the AME Church with a charge in Cambridge. So he was affiliated with the AME Church. Now, the AME Church is the first Black church. All right, so Prince Hall, his father was a white man, and his mother was a free colored woman from France. All right, and again, he was affiliated with the AME Church, which is the first Black church. All right. Now, he got put on game by a man named Thornton Jackson. He got put on to the craft by a man named Thornton Jackson. Now, Thornton Jackson rolled with Albert Pike. All right, one of the best authorities on Scottish Rite Freemasonry, notwithstanding Brother Albert Pike is reported to have made the statement, I took my obligation to white men and not to Negroes. He was a good friend to Thornton Jackson and aided him in carrying on the work of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. So, Prince Hall got put on game by Thornton Jackson. Now, Thornton Jackson rolled with Albert Pike. The issue with that is Albert Pike was a Klansman. All right, Albert Pike was a Klansman. So, one of the first people to use this African identity was Prince Hall. All right, started the African Lodge, got put on game by Thornton Jackson. Thornton Jackson rolled with Klansmen. All right, this is the origin of this whole African ideology. All right, now another group that Prince Hall was a part of was called the Free African Society. All right, the Free African Society was started by a group of Black Quakers. All right, also a man named Richard Allen, Absalom Jones, 1787. The Free African Society's most important impact was that it led to the establishment of the first Black church, the AME Church. All right, so Black church, all right, one of the most destructive elements in Black America is the Black church. Without a doubt, the Black church is one of the most destructive elements in Black America. All right, and it has a relationship with Pan-Africanism. All right, the AME Church comes right out of the Free African Society. Again, they have a relationship to Richard Allen and Absalom Jones, who were two of America's Black founding fathers. Also has a relationship with Prince Hall. And we just read that Prince Hall got put on by Thornton Jackson, and Thornton Jackson rolled with Klan members. All right, this is the origin of Pan-Africanism. All right, Edward Wilmot Blyden, he's known as the father of Pan-Africanism. Edward Wilmot Blyden, the father of Pan-Africanism. All right, he was an ordained Presbyterian minister, again, with these damn pastors and this damn church. And he worked with an organization called the American Colonization Society. He immigrated to Liberia in 1850. All right, this is where your back to Africa concepts are going to come from. Your repatriation ideology is going to come from. Now, it was paid for by the American Colonization Society. Now, this group was designed to address the view that free people of color could not integrate into U.S. society. All right, white Americans believed that blacks were inferior and therefore should be relocated. All right, these were your so-called northern moderate abolitionists. All right, these were your so-called good white folks that believe that we were inferior and should be relocated. Again, this is where your concepts of back to Africa is going to come from. All right, this is where your repatriation movements are going to come out of, right out of the American Colonization Society. Again, worked with people like Edward Wilmot Blyden, worked with people like Richard Allen and Absalom Jones, again, who rolled with people like Prince Hall, all right? And Prince Hall rolled with Thornton Jackson, and Thornton Jackson rolled with Klansmen. All right, January 1817, James Ford and Richard Allen and Absalom Jones called a meeting to discuss the American Colonization Society in front of a 3,000-member congregation promoting moving to Africa. Not one member agreed to go. All right, this was in the church. This was in that same black church that this African ideology is going to come out of, this Pan-African ideology is going to come from, and this Back to Africa movement is going to come from. Again, the black church is one of the most destructive. It's one of the most destructive inventions in Black America. All right. And of course, not one member agreed to go. Didn't we show you earlier the picture of these Africans in flip-flops that live in caves still? Of course, nobody wanted to go. Why would you want to go to Flies? Why the hell would you want to go to Flies? All right, now he also, when he got to Liberia, he went and turned Muslim. He said Mohammedanism in Africa has left the native master of himself and his home. But wherever Christianity has been able to establish itself, foreigners have taken possession of the country and in some places ruled the natives with oppressive rigor. Well, here's the issue with that. Islam is foreign too. Let me show you something quick. This was Hadith 163. All right, it says, well, we were sitting with the prophet in the mosque. A man came riding a camel. He made his camel kneel down in the mosque and tied his foreleg and said, who amongst you was Muhammad? At that time, the prophet was sitting amongst us, his companions, leaning on his arm. We replied, this white man reclining on his arm. All right, this Islam is a white Arab religion. All right, Islam is a white Arab religion. All right, it isn't any better than the Christian church. It isn't any more radical than the Christian church. All right, Islam is nothing but musty Christianity. Islam is nothing but musty Christianity. All right, Henry Sylvester Williams. All right, he's the one that coined the term Pan-Africanism. He moved to England in 1897 to form the African Association. See, he didn't move to Africa. He moved to England to start the African Association. He worked as a lecturer for the Church of England. Again, we got these goddamn churches, these goddamn pastors, and these goddamn Freemasons. Well, he met and married a white woman named Agnes Powell, daughter of Freemason captain Francis Powell. So again, we have this Freemasonic element again. We have this Masonic element. We have the church, and these are themes that you're going to see all throughout Pan-Africanism. All right, Marcus Garvey. I know a lot of people are going to hate to hear this. A lot of people in these blackity-black organizations are going to hate to hear this, but Marcus Garvey was a white supremacist. I'm going to prove it. This white man right here that he's in the photo with, this is Walter Plecker. All right, this is Walter Plecker. All right, was an American physician and public health advocate who was the first registrar of Virginia's Bureau of Vital Statistics, serving from 1912 to 1946. Plecker directed registrars around the state to change birth certificates to cross out Indian and write in color. So why would Marcus Garvey roll with the man that did something like this? All right, why would Marcus Garvey roll with one of the people responsible for paper genocide of the North American Indian? All right, directed registrars around the state to change birth certificates to cross out Indian and write in color. Why would Marcus Garvey roll with a man like this? I'm going to show you. All right, now this is from Daily Telegraph. All right, prominent black activist Marcus Garvey once said, I regard the Klan, the Anglo-Saxon Club, and white American societies as better friends of the race than all other groups of hypocritical whites put together. Now, earlier we read that Prince Hall had a relationship with the Klan through Thornton Jackson and Albert Pike. And now we have Marcus Garvey says, I regard the Klan as better friends of the race than all of the groups of hypocritical whites put together. All right, now this was a telegram sent to a friend of Marcus Garvey's named Ernest Severe Cox. It says, the fact is that the modern Negro is a lazy, good-for-nothing slumberer. This is my conviction, arrived at by close and careful study and experience, and if something is not done for him, he will die as other unfit races have. All right, this was a telegram that Marcus Garvey sent to a good friend of his. All right, his good friend Ernest Cox was the author of a book called White America. And White America is one of the most racist books you'll probably ever read. All right, one of the most racist books you'll ever probably read. And he was a good friend of Marcus Garvey. All right, self-styled ethnologist Ernest Severe Cox announced Virginia's eugenics fears regarding the race question. Introducing his book, White America, he wrote the Negro problem is a part of the greater problem of heredity. When eugenics seeks to eliminate the unfit and establish the fit it has for its purpose, not the betterment of physical types merely, but the establishment of those types of greatest value to progressive civilization. In Cox's eyes, Black Americans represented an unfit type and were a matter of concern for the eugenists. According to Cox, those who seek to maintain the white race in its purity. So he believed in what was called eugenics back then. All right, of course, eugenics eventually became the birth control movement. The birth control movement officially became Planned Parenthood. All right, and Marcus Garvey agreed with all of it. All right, we just read that Marcus Garvey called Black Americans an unfit type. And these unfit types were meant to be eliminated through the eugenics movement. Now, back in those days, they would just sterilize Black women without them even knowing. They would sterilize Black women without their consent. And of course, that eventually became what we know of as Planned Parenthood. All right. But all of this comes from eugenics. All right. All of this comes out of white supremacy. And Marcus Garvey, your big king of Pan-Africanism, he agreed with all of it. He rolled with these people. All right. He rolled with these people. All right. The relationship between Marcus Garvey and Ernest Cox developed into a genuine friendship. In one of his books, Marcus Garvey presented a full-page ad promoting the book, White America Without Charge. So Marcus Garvey is promoting a book about eugenics written by a white supremacist. And Marcus Garvey might have been of Black European descent. Probably has no ties to Africa at all whatsoever. All right, Marcus Garvey, the first born about 1837, St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, the son of William Garvey. Now we have another William Garvey, a Jacobite. Now the Jacobites were the people that rolled with King James and his family during the Jacobite Wars. All right, sentenced to transportation from London to Jamaica, 1747, aboard the ship Free. William had been a farmer in Rothshire in northern Scotland. All right, so Marcus Garvey didn't have any connection with Africa at all whatsoever. And when he was finally deported, he ended up in Europe. He didn't go to Africa, he ended up in Europe. All right, now, why was Marcus Garvey cool? Why was Marcus Garvey taking pictures with one of the men responsible for paper genocide? One of the men responsible for changing Indian birth certificates, crossing out the word Indian and writing in color. Why? All right, UNIA's founder Marcus Garvey had a significant following in the South, particularly among Black farmers. All right, Marcus Garvey was promoting his Back to Africa movement to Black Southerners, particularly Black farmers. All right, in 1910, Black Americans owned at least 20 million acres of farmland in the South. Today, we own 1 million acres of farmland. So in 1910, we owned 20 million acres of farmland in the South. Today, we only own about 1 million acres of farmland. Why? Because Marcus Garvey was targeting Black Southerners. He was targeting Black Southerners, Black farmers, Black landowners, and trying to convince people to move to Africa. And it's easier to do it when your ties to the land are being cut. It's easier to do it when Indian's been taken off your birth certificate and replaced with color. It's easy to cut ties to the land that way. And that's why Marcus Garvey rolled with people like Walter Plecker. All All right, he targeted black farmers in the South. All right, this is how diabolical it gets with Marcus Garvey. All right, this is what Pan-African is. This is what Pan-Africanism is. It gets you to look away from here. It gets you to look away from here and put your eyes in Africa somewhere. Or Edward Wilmot Blyden was talking about turning Muslim, which again takes your eyes off of here and sends you on a damn magic carpet ride to Mecca somewhere. All right, this is what these ideologies are designed to do. In 1910, Black Americans owned 20 million acres of farmland in the South. Today, it's only 1 million. This is what these ideologies do. This is what Pan-Africanism does. This is what Islam does. This is what the Christian church does. All right, this is what these ideologies are designed to do. And Pan-Africanism is no different. All right, Melville Herskovitz, president of the African Studies Association, 1958. This is the father of African studies. This is the white Jewish father of African studies. All right, Melville Herskovitz, best known today for his book, The Myth of the Negro Past, 1941. And he argued that Black Americans have African culture. He argued that Black Americans have African culture. Where? There's nothing in Black American culture that's African at all. It's not in the music. It's not in the food. It's not in the entertainment. All right, nothing about Black American culture is African at all. And I even heard somebody try to say that Creole food in Louisiana is similar to Nigerian food. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They must have never been to Louisiana before. But you can go ahead and eat that musty West African food if you want to. All right. Egypt. All right, I know a lot of people were big on Egypt for a while, but thanks to Captain Zaria at the headquarters, ISUPK under Commander General Yohana, he destroyed Egyptology. But ancient Egyptians used to circumcise their women. And even today, Africans circumcise little girls. It's a common custom in Africa today to circumcise girls when they turn 13. You still want to be African? All right, this is an ancient Egyptian coffin text. All right, these people circumcised girls. All right, now a lot of this had small hat funding. All right, here's Julius Rosenwald. All right, the West 135th Branch YMCA, 181 West 135th Street, built in 1919 for $375,000 with the funding of Julius Rosenwald. Now, this is where your Harlem History Club is going to come out of. All right, this is where people like John Henry Clark are going to come from, John G. Jackson, J.A. Rogers, all right, William Hansberry, all these people are going to come at this. All right, John Henry Clark, the master teacher, all right, a pioneer in Pan-Africanism and African studies, professional institutions and academia in the late 1960s. John Henry Clark has moved from duplicity, from brazen flaunt of his role as guidance counselor to the Pentagon and safari scout for the CIA in the Harlems of the U.S. and Africa. Bet you I ain't know this. For flaunting his role as guidance counselor to the Pentagon and safari scout for the CIA in the Harlems of the U.S. and Africa. This is who John Henry Clark is. All right, Dr. Ben, the great Dr. Ben, saying Africa is the greatest. You sure? You still want to be African? Are you sure? All right, there is doubt whether Dr. Ben was truthful about his birthplace. 1938, he is said to have earned a BS in civil engineering at the University of Puerto Rico. This is disputed as the registrar has no record of his attendance. Dr. Ben also stated he began teaching Egyptology at Malcolm King College in Harlem, 1950, but this volunteer-run effort was not funded until 1968. All right, this volunteer-run effort was not founded until 1968. Dr. Ben is a liar. He also claimed to have earned a PhD in cultural anthropology and Moorish history at the University of Havana and the University of Barcelona. Barcelona says he never received a degree from their university. Dr. Ben is a liar. The great Dr. Ben ain't nothing but a liar. All right, immigrated to the U.S. in the early 40s. He was appointed to chairman of the African Studies Committee at UNESCO. 1945, he served in that position until 1970. Now, here's the thing about UNESCO. All right, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization announced the establishment of an unprecedented worldwide literacy program entitled Fundamental Education. All right, the World Bank issued loans, first to programs involving secondary education, and then in 1970 to projects supporting the improvement and expansion of primary education. So these people are getting bank loans, all right, with the aims at educational programming. All right, with aims at programming our children through education. Now, this bank also has ties to the CIA. All right, this bank also has ties to the CIA. All right, and this was who UNESCO was going through to push this educational programming, and Dr. Ben was right along with it. All right, the CIA report is important because it shows that at least 5 years ago, government agencies had clear warning that the Rogue International Bank secretly owned First American. Officials at the Federal Reserve have said that because of questions about the BCCI's financing, they would never have permitted it to own an American bank if they had known. All right, so UNESCO also had ties to the CIA. All right, this is how deep this story goes to try to push an African identity on Black Americans. All right, Leonard Jeffries. All right, University administrator, professor, and Pan-Africanist, born 1937 in New Jersey. A Rockefeller Foundation and Whitney Opportunity Fellow, Jeffries in 1972 earned a Columbia University PhD in political science under the direction of L. Gray Cohen. All right, Leonard Jeffries came up under L. Gray Cohen. Now, this white Jewish man also has a relationship with the CIA, specifically director of the African Institute and American Society of African Culture. All right, so Leonard Jeffries even comes up in CIA-run programs. All right. Now, he also was part of an organization called ASCAP. All right, started in 1984 by John Henry Clark, who we just read about. All right, Asa Hilliard, Leonard Jeffries, Jacob Carruthers, Dr. Ben, and Milena Karanga. Now, Karanga, he started the holiday of Kwanzaa, but a few weeks after the assassination of Martin Luther King, Karanga slipped into Sacramento for a private chat with Governor Reagan at the governor's request. The Black nationalists also met clandestinely with LA Police Chief Thomas Redden after Mr. King was killed. All right, Milena Karanga was a Fed. All right, Milena Karanga was working with the Feds. All right, Asa Hilliard, who also rolled with ASCAP. All right, he was Boule. He was part of the Boule. All right, this is how deep this Pan-African shit goes. All right, these are your major players in Pan-Africanism. We got to break down all of them. All right, these people can't run and hide no more. All right, Asa Hilliard, who was also part of ASCAP, he was part of the Boule. All right, Leonard Jeffries became oral history director of the Carnegie-funded Kente Library for Black genealogical research in Washington, D.C. He also consulted on Alex Haley's Roots and the television program in 1977. So he got funded from Carnegie. Now, Carnegie was responsible for the flooding of an all-black town. All right, Carnegie was responsible for the flooding of an all-black town. And Alex Haley, another Freemason, he was also a plagiarist. 1977, Alex Haley was accused of plagiarism in 2 separate lawsuits by Harold Corlander and Margaret Alexander. Corlander claimed that Roots was copied from his fictional novel, The African. Walker claimed Haley had plagiarized from her Civil War era novel, Jubilee. Corlander's lawsuit was settled out of court for $650,000 and an acknowledgement that from Haley that certain passages were taken from The African. All right, so Roots is fake. All right, I hate to tell you, but Roots is fake. All right, all of it is nonsense. So not only was Alex Haley a Freemason, but Roots was plagiarized. All right, it's fake. Jesse Jackson. All right, a movement led by Jesse Jackson to call us African Americans has met with both rousing approval and deep-seated skepticism. So your African American comes from Jesse Jackson. Now, Jesse Jackson was born Jesse Louise Burns, the son of Helen Burns. She never married his father, Noah Lewis Burns. All right, Noah Lewis Robinson's ancestry includes Cherokee and Irish. All right, Robinson is one of the most common surnames in Ireland. So this is where your Robinson surname is going to come from. And Jesse Jackson's second great-grandfather, Jesse Christie, was Cherokee. All right, 1900 U.S. Federal Census, Jackson Christie, Cherokee Nation Indian Territory. This is who Jesse Jackson is on his paternal side. So how does somebody with the Cherokee lineage, a Cherokee and Irish lineage, how does he turn Pan-African? How does he push for African American? All right, Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson. Again, we talked about earlier that he recently put up a new video about how the school is finally finished again. The school is finally finished again. And he's just looking for a certificate of occupancy. And he's been pulling this scam for over a decade. He's been pulling this scam for over a decade. After only 6 months, only got $250K. Call black folks trifling. This is who Umar Johnson is. And we got Umar Johnson rolling with the Freemasons. Again, at the beginning of class, we talked about Prince Hall. And Prince Hall was one of the first people to use an African identity. He was one of the first people to use an African identity. And today we have the self-proclaimed Prince of Pan-Africanism rolling with the Freemasons today. Now, a lot of people have asked where the money went. A lot of people have asked where the money went. Now, I'm not pocket watching, but Umar Johnson, born Jermaine Shoemake, is the founder of the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. FMDG was incorporated in 2014 in the state of Pennsylvania. Again, he's been running this scam for a long time. Promotes itself as a school for black boys with misdiagnosed behavioral disorders. With respect to alleged criminal-related activities, with respect to alleged criminal offenses related to illegal drugs, Umar Johnson is alleged to have a cocaine addiction. With respect to alleged criminal offense, with respect to alleged criminal offenses related to illegal drugs, Umar Johnson is alleged to have a cocaine addiction. Could this be where the money went? Could this be where the money went? Umar Johnson is a dope fiend, allegedly. Allegedly. All right. Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So according to the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, black folks are not African. All right, source Choctaw Advocate, July 24th, 1902. All right, disenfranchise the Negro and send him to Africa. Absurd and impossible. More than $1 billion worth of United States real estate, which he owns in his own name in the United States, is not easily taken from him. Besides, the Negro is not an African. All right, FDA halts 23andMe sales, scientific caution, personal genetic screenings are entertainment genetics. See this 23andMe? Genetic screenings are entertainment genetics. This is for entertainment purposes only. All right, let's drop that. Let's drop that and go into the Bible quick. Exodus 11 and 7. Let's go to Exodus 11 and 7. All right, but against the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. All right, there is a difference between Blacks, Hispanics, and North American Indians and Africans. There is a distinct difference between us and Africans. And the Lord put a difference between us and Africans. All right, so this Pan-African nonsense, again, all it does is take away from what we've been able to accomplish here and gets us to put our focus on Africa somewhere. All right, but the Lord put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. All right, let's drop that. Acts 13 and 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger, and Lucius of Cyrene and Manaen, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. All right, Niger is just a word that means black. So the prophets and the teachers in the New Testament were black, but not African. All right, the prophets and teachers in the book of Acts were called Niger, and it's just a word that means black. But there's a difference between us and Africans. All right, so let's drop that. All right, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me, man, and soaking up some of this game. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Of course, you got me every Monday night, 9 p.m., Lord willing. All right, Tuesday night, Brotherhood class, 7 p.m. All right, Wednesday night, the podcast, Cry Out, Spare Not podcast, 9 p.m. All right, come and check out the Daddest podcast in Kentucky. All right, the podcast that breaks down every other podcast. And of course, Saturday morning Sabbath service. So Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Saturday morning. And with that, we'll go ahead and read the security announcements. ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK started at 1 West 125th Street. Rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. Another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, a tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations, we'll get further clarification on that. With that, we'll do one courtesy salute. Shalom. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Barakathon. Yahweh Shemalathon Bashem Yahweh. With that, class is dismissed.
fuck about what them bitches gotta say. I'm a woman where's a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love fuck about what them niggas gotta say. I'm a woman where's a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad to dismiss you. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, go through the baddest conditions. I don't fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, nigga. She know I'm a prophet, she glad to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit. Tell her go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' a different breed of black men. We don't do the back bend. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like don't forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we soldier. You can take that to the bank, we focus. How many times must we remind you? Body one win, some break off and never take off as a flex. When the law with you ain't no up next, it's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that, The Lord called a nigga out the world, I responded and called back. Oh Lord, and everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit, we want all that. Niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sissies. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better have the women, have the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't butt the system. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in here with me. We in the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Black and Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be fresh as hell, take a picture. And we professional with the scriptures. Play, we gon' scratch them, yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't get it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide on. The slide that I know about is when I assemble the Glock with the slide on. I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got nines, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like, bitch, or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with what me and my nigga like. My nigga like them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sissies. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, your hunter, we unaffiliated with them. Like they tongue and they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. You understand me? Like, niggas be out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah.
Buck roll.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, this and that for life. I'm on West for life, nigga, this a blood oath. Jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm this and that for life, this and that for life. I'm always for life, nigga, this a blood oath. Hey, yo, Madara, here go a class for you, my nigga. 140 for the rebel. The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, sin and curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This loyalty's a death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind field. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like Van Pelt, but ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. Try to deal death to a priest, you won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand, just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times, then it's death do us part. No. So how you feel about this truth I done shown you? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing, ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fuck 'em, raise it. I pity those watching life as it go by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In pump smoke, never try to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, that's all I know. Either fold or salute, my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now I never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she need me, said she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want even your own people go disown. And the Lord said they hate you for my name.